What's going on, guys? So we got a cart boy from the Sadquoi Club coming in today. Playing heavyweight shafts, real firm, kind of an upright lie angle with no bounce. We're going to take him through the process, write him a script, and see how his clubs check out. Stay tuned. To get a tiger strike, we can't control the face, so we have to get the tiger strike first. Once we start getting that tiger strike, we got to marry up the face to that path to give us that shot shape that we want. So for you, we will know a club that is working very well is the club that draws a little bit but doesn't overdraw. Your miss is the overdraw. Most people who draw say, yeah, I don't mind if I draw it. I don't want to overcook it because it goes long and I have no control. Now we're going to miss too. We got to manage your miss to being short and to the right.
Right.
Balls that are not overdrawing, they just stay straight. There's only, you can't have a perfect club, right? You have to have a miss. We got to marry something up that give us the tiger strike. What is the tiger strike? The tiger strike is when the bottom of the ball is touching some of the bottom groove, whether it's a little bit below the bottom groove, just touching the top of it. But as soon as the bottom of the ball is above that bottom groove, you will start to see this thing start to take a shift to the left. Some of them will be perfect, some of them will go left, some of them will go long, some will go short. Why? Because that club isn't doing the same thing when the earth is twisting on it.
Right.
Okay? So, that's what we're after today. The first test we're going to do is we're going to do a soul design test. So the first thing I do, I turn your club over and go, what kind of soul does he have? Well, you've got a lot of leading edge bounce and you got no trailing edge bounce. So we call that a medium bounce soul. So when I turn this club over and we look at it, you can see that the trailing edge is higher than the leading edge. When you look at that club, it's not the same. It's sloping that way. You see that?
Right.
There's no way that both of those puzzle pieces can fit equally into that crevice. One will fit in there better than the next.
Right.
And that's actually what we're looking for. The difference between a good shot and a bad shot is only a couple millimeters anyway. So in golf, these little things actually play a pretty big role 175 yards away. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right. We're going to hit 3 shots with this golf club. We are going to hit 3 shots with the other ones, and we're going to see who wins the soul design test. So we are aiming straight at the flag. I'm going to turn this screen off because we're not here to have you see a bad shot and fix anything. You're an athlete. You need to respond like one, and you just need to try to hit the ball in the middle of the face at your target. That's all you're supposed to do. I'll find a club that dances with you. One of the things that I've noticed about these particular golf clubs that I didn't know would happen is because the sweet spot is so low on that club because of the weights that I've installed into it, people are actually grabbing this thing and tiger striking them a lot quicker than their own club. Tiger strike, perfect shot. So every time we hear that shot, the ball won't go left. If we hear that sound, the ball won't go left.
That's wild.
Did the earth influence those physics? The answer is no. Tiger strike, when you actually pay attention to what it is and you do it, you notice that the divot starts to go away.
I've had those clubs for 2 years, and I feel the ball when I hit it.
I know. Well,
It was
again,
nothing.
I know.
It was smooth.
Yep. Thin is better than any mount fat. You made that ball go left if it went left.
Right.
The earth didn't. We don't want to hit the ball thin, but thin to win actually has a little bit of a true meaning to it. Now what the game becomes is it becomes a game of better or worse. What's interesting is like you do have a steeper angle of attack for a 7-iron. Kind of makes sense that the high bounce worked as good as it did. It does make sense. It's a pretty good golf swing there. All right. Which one do you think you had the most consistent sound and turf interaction with?
100% the high bounce.
100% the high bounce. Now we can't pull up the data yet. We're going to save that till the end. But you can take it to the bank. That high bounce is going to win both the ball speed consistency, the launch, spin, and therefore carry yardage. You want to know why? Because the tiger strike doesn't lie. When you figure out that the tiger strike is taking that variable out of the equation, it will always produce the consistency in the numbers. It will. Again, another thing that I thought, 10 years ago I needed, and after doing this for long enough and having a system like this, I needed it to figure it out, but I don't really need it anymore. I could show up at a local driving range, take you to the mat, have a little foot spray, run you through the process, watch that ball flight, look at the strike, and sure, I'm going to hit those numbers. I know which ones are being
100%.
produced because I've seen it so many times. So it's kind of cool. When you hit a ball and you tiger strike it, but it misses left. Why did it miss left? How did it actually happen? At that moment of truth, what caused the ball to ultimately miss left? What is it? The face was close to the path at impact. Your path is a little into out. So if your path is 2 degrees into out, to hit the ball on target, you would need your club face to be 1 degree open,
Right.
half the path. If the path is 4, face is half, ball will end up at 0. That's how you bowl a strike. That's the math. So we need your golf club coming in 1 degree open at impact. If we get that, thing's gonna go high and have a soft drop. Basically what we're doing here is we're having a race between the heel and the toe. So we're gonna do a lie angle test, testing 5 degrees upright, standard, our standard, and 5 degrees flat. Seems like a wide spectrum, but Ben Hogan played 5 degrees flat or close to it. Bryson DeChambeau plays 5 degrees or close to it. Both win major championships. Good golf lives inside that 10 degrees. I would hate to have Ben Hogan come in here and not be able to service him accordingly. Can I get an amen? All right, so here we go. Sorry, Ben. Hit the standard lie. Saddest thing is he'd miss it left and he'd ruin his swing. Guy, this athletic, I mean, your golf swing is so good. You got such a good looking golf swing.
Thank you.
You wouldn't want to mess with it at all. You'd want to stay athletic, focus on getting the tiger strike, and having a club that's completely designed to give him a good result when he does it correctly. You give me this golf club and just say, close your eyes and hit it. 4 left, 4 left, 4 left. I can't even hit that club.
See, I can look down at this and I already feel uncomfortable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you're telling me the club can talk. Whoa, Tiger! You can't take personal responsibility for your good or bad shots when you haven't been matched up. If you haven't got a prescription, you're placing the blame on the wrong person. Golf is the hardest game in the world. Why would we ever make it harder, not understanding like what tool we're going to be using? But that's where a lot of people are on this journey. And hopefully, you know, word gets out enough that there is a prescription that you can get. There is medications that can make you better. And we can actually develop a game plan that after you get your golf clubs, will show you how to use them accordingly. Freaking drop your handicap by 7 shots. It's not that bad if you focus on the right stuff. But if you come in and make me give you a driver lesson when you're not ready for a driver lesson, well, I won't give you a driver lesson. You're not ready for the driver lesson. We have these building blocks to get you there faster and not slow you down. Here we go. So when I start watching this, I start thinking, man, I wonder what a softer shaft's gonna do. I wonder what a lighter shaft's gonna do. Because right now his low point tends to be a little bit behind the ball, and I think that those variables might just start pushing that airplane a little farther forward and getting that tiger strike to happen more often. Very nice. Not quite a tiger strike, but pretty good. Okay, so this is kind of what I expect to see. As he warmed up, I could tell he had a pretty strong club face position. He actually shallows the club really nicely in transition. Like I said, very good golf swing. But it's got all the biological makeup of a good player that has a tendency of missing left. Oh, he clipped it. That was a very nice shot. So you got 1 out of 2 tiger strikes on that. All right, lie angle number 3. Can you tell that's flatter?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
It's comfortable.
So mathematically, this one should keep the ball furthest to the right. Mathematically, this one would take the worst swings to miss left. Okay, that wasn't tiger strike. Then now I pay attention to it. So you notice every time he does a tiger strike, it's going to go left.
Right.
Question is how much? I can't stop you from not tiger striking and missing it left. That's
It's just me.
after we go. Well, we don't know yet until we're done with the process. But if we go through the process and you do that, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that the shaft weight, the swing weight, the flex, the kick point is everything's trying to stop that from happening, but you could still put a bad swing on it. This is where having a skilled professional watch you do this and knows how to use the system is very important, because I know mathematically I only need to see 1 or 2 good shots with that to really say, oh no, that's going to play out in reality a lot better than that standard lie angle will. So let's go ahead and hit 1 more. All right, weight test. So when we get to looking at the data and we start saying, how are we going to piece this club together? What we're probably going to do for you is every single club that keeps the ball the furthest to the right as possible, we're going to stack all those together. Most people who hit 5 degrees flat are going to start missing that ball right of right. You still had a tendency to hit a little bit of a pull draw. So you do have a deep inclination to turning the ball left, which is fine. I'm biased towards flat lie angles, but what we want to do is continue this to see how does weight play into a roll. So this is a weight test. How is weight going to affect the Tiger Strike 1 and 2, that face to path relationship? The first thing I noticed on that shot is he did not hit that ball perfectly, slightly high on the face, but that ball did not miss left whatsoever. And that's actually what we're looking for. So there, it wasn't so bad. Let me see, a little high. Oh shit, I was wrong. It was low on the face. Nice shot.
Thank you.
Yep, it's all right.
That's so high.
Did that club feel lightweight to you? Heavy, medium? What did it feel like?
Heavy.
It's a heavy golf club.
I'm sweating now. Like I broke a sweat.
You know. I used to think I loved heavy golf clubs until I allowed myself to mess around with light ones long enough, and then I grabbed a heavy one and I was chunking it over and over and over again, and I'm thinking to myself, how did I ever swing this thing? Yeah. Oh.
Chunky.
Massive chunk.
See, this feels a bit lighter. Slow it down.
Mm-hmm. No, don't just swing your swing. However it affects your swing is how it affects it, but don't try to change what you feel like you should do. You're gonna hit some good, you're gonna hit some bad. That was top shelf quality there. You just need to hit as many balls as you can, as fast as you can. That's the type of miss that you want to live with. That's where good golf lives. I think you healed that ever so slightly, but that ball has no choice but to go somewhere where you're aiming. Most people think practicing off of the grass or getting fit off of the grass is better. But when you hit off the grass, you can't see the strike location as clear as this. When you don't know how to use the mat, yeah, maybe hitting off the grass gives you a little bit better feedback. But when you know how to use the mat and you know exactly where you're looking for on strike location, now I believe the mat's actually a more effective tool to practice with if you know how to use it as a tool. So I'm all about the mat, dude. I used to hate mats when I was young, but I love mats now because I know how to use a mat. A mat shows me exactly where I'm at all times. And if I go out to the golf course and hit those Tiger Strikes, the ball's going to do exactly the same thing. It travels. The Tiger Strike travels all around the world. If you Tiger Strike it, it's going to work. So I already have an idea. Like, I already know what OEM club I'm going to recommend you. You're going to get recommended the Ping I-230 because it's got a long blade length. It's got a 12-gram weight in the toe. It's a wide, high bounce sole. Spins a lot. Hardest club in my building to hook. And if I get that thing 5 degrees flat, he ain't going to hook it. It'd be perfect. He's 100% Ping I-230 all day. Oh, unless he does that over and over. Give me 2 more with that one. That guy who just won at Torrey Pines, he's playing the Ping I-230. So it's been a great golf club. There's been a lot of success with that golf club over the last 2 years. Ooh, now we're starting to make it fucking sing. At least you know the difference.
Yep.
That's a skill in itself, is just understanding the difference between a good and a bad one. Understanding how you shot 72 and understanding how you shot 82 is very powerful stuff. Instead of just going home wondering why you did it, understanding how you did it is really what infatuates me with this game. I don't want to misread a putt and push it and have it go in and make birdie.
You want to know how you did it.
I want to aim at the ball perfect. I want to have a perfect read. I want to hit with perfect speed. I want it to go in and know that I did all those things and check that box. So, yep, I got a birdie. You missed that shot pretty bad. A little right. Right's better than left, though. I'll take right over left.
For sure, those borderline shank.
One more. So this fool's also going to be getting a big-ass grip. Big old grip. It's got to. I can already see it. I have a feeling soft flex shaft is going to do the best. The whippy one. So like, again, like there's always gonna be times and places where we have to like look at our golf swing, but what we wanna do before we start ripping our swing apart and trying to change the way that it looks for like no good reason, is like, once you have a club that's promoting the most tiger strikes that we can get, the next thing I would do if I wasn't tiger striking it, is I'd go to the range and I'd move the ball an inch up in my stance and say, am I tiger striking it more or less? I'd move the ball 3 inches back in my stance. Am I tiger striking it more or less? And literally everything that I would do in my golf swing is saying, is it encouraging my percentage of tiger strikes? And if it does, is the ball going where I'm at looking? Everything that you do in your golf swing has to equal that, because if it doesn't, nothing else matters.
Right.
So I think that's where when we experiment with these variables and do wide spectrums, it's like, who's to say that there's not a shaft that's going to kick into the crotch of that ball on repeat for your action? And if we find it, you just get to go on repeat.
Yep.
That's what we want.
Money.
Was it?
Yeah.
It's not a little chunky.
That's chunky.
Again, right now we're doing a kick point test. The first one was a really firm tip section. That last one was a very firm mid section. And then now this one's got a very firm butt section. So far, nothing's made my hair stand up in this test. Nothing has really striked a chord. We've gotten much better results in previous tests, but let's see what this one does. Not like that. Such a big difference in those two strikes.
100%.
All right, I am interested to see which shaft out of those last three felt the best to you. 1, 2, or 3?
I'm going to say middle.
The middle shaft.
2.
Okay. All right, flex number 1. So now we have this test is the same weight shaft, the same profile shaft. They're just different flexes. You know, a lot of people come into my building and they want to spend a bunch of money on golf equipment. They want to buy brand new exotic shafts. They want to spend $300 a club on the shaft. But when I ask them, you know, what is the role of the golf shaft? The shaft is designed to present the ball in the ideal part of the face, which we've identified, and do it consistent over and over and over. So if we can get a shaft on a driver that just hits the same spot of the face every time, bam, 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 that ball has no choice but to do whatever it's going to do. It ain't going to slice and then draw. It's going to do the same thing every single time. So we're looking for ideal strike location and then consistency there. All right, here we go. Flex number 1. Okay. Go ahead and give me one more.
That's where we want to miss it.
It's a decent miss. It wasn't your best shot, but it was a decent miss. Flex number 2. All right, whenever you're ready, we got 3. Ooh.
There we go.
Yes, sir. Tiger strikes first, shot shape second. Okay, was this shaft better or worse than the last one?
For sure, I feel better.
No doubt.
1,000%.
Yeah, it was so much better. 3 shots, and then when we have determined the flex test. So I would say that there's a high percentage of people, not just the average golfer, but even professional golfers, that when we've taken them through this test, not always supposed to be playing extra stiff. It's one of the biggest problems that I see is guys coming in trying to play shafts that are too stiff, making them miss the tiger strike, and ultimately play worse golf. And the reason is because of the assumptions that we have. We swing really fast, we assume we need something really stiff, but that doesn't mean that the shafts aren't too stiff for even the fastest swingers. Who knows? It's a good selling point, though. It's easy to sell a very stiff shaft to a big, strong guy who swings fast. Doesn't take much to convince him. Make him feel macho. Oh, come on!
There she is.
Seriously?
Well, bam.
Oh, he's heating up. It's
Not
going to be
bad.
between number 2 and number 3. I can tell you that right away. That was really clean.
Yeah. Same spot.
If we look at the concentration on where the balls ended up, now again, it is a little heely, but if you just look at the concentration of it and low on the face, it's definitely between 2 and 3, but the concentration on 3 has got me kind of looking a little bit. I'm kind of looking here, but who knows? This one might sneak in there. We got to check. We don't know. You are mandatory. We have to do all of the tests with you because you are a benefit from the final 2 of being such a hooker. We save hookers' lives every day of the week. You're the easiest guy to fix. All right, this is a swing weight test. Heavy swing weight, medium swing weight, light swing weight. D4, C4, and B4. We've taken weight out of the head. We've counterbalanced the shafts on number 2 and number 3. Let's see how it plays out. Everyone comes in here and wants to talk about swing weight. Before we talk, we got to hit. Ooh, shit. That was a really nice shot. One more.
Thank you.
Something about that was very, very consistent. I mean, again, a little towards the heel, but very consistent. They're all 15-ounce golf clubs, but the weight is distributed them so differently, you would never believe it. Whoa. So what I'm really looking at for him is, 1, does it help increase the tiger strike? But 2, does a lighter swing weight cause him to miss more left? Or does it help him not miss left? That's the big key for us. That was tiger striked. That ball actually had a little fade. That was a beautiful golf shot. Do it again. Oh, come on. What a shot.
There she is.
Wow.
Tiger strike is healy.
If the club gets a little bit lighter, I've noticed it kind of moves to the heel a little bit in the swing weight test for whatever reason. Don't know why. The swing weight test is under full review. You know, the shaft actually is playing a little stiffer. Again, I'm working on my own shafts at the moment so that we can solve some of the issues that we've come across trying to create this variable testing. It's really solid. Wow. Nothing has really stopped you from missing the ball left.
Mm-hmm.
You hit some straight, you hit some left. You hit some left, you hit a couple straight. You haven't really missed anything way off to the right. So you definitely are always coming in with that face a little shut. But I believe that if you get good shots with it and you keep repeating your action, you could be a hell of a player. So there are 2 more tests that we need to do, and we don't always do these tests. If you're a slicer who always leaves the club face open, unless you have gnarly arthritis, we're probably not going to recommend a big giant grip for you. And the reason is because you're just going to leave the ball more off to the right if we do. But for him, and we're trying to keep the face more open or at impact, well, these variables will actually move the needle, so we want to expose the player to that. Now, hopefully it doesn't come to this, right?
Right.
But it's interesting to see that how with a standard line angle, how this big grip can affect the outcome.
Oh.
Most people don't hit the mat right away. They almost top it. They do weird stuff. Just try a couple more.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the grip, but I've seen it save lives. Okay, so again, not your best strike ever.
Nope.
So far, nothing has completely derailed the train. The wheels haven't fall off. There's not been a club that I hand you that you just simply cannot make contact with, right? Nothing's causing him to shank it or whiff it or do anything too crazy. If anything, it was maybe that last club a little bit.
Yeah.
That last club is probably the gnarliest one of them all. This one is big, but it's not as big. As soon as I see that a big grip can still create the same issue that he's got, it makes me think, well, I'm almost just wasting my time having him keep testing this grip. We're trying to fight a left miss. That grip didn't stop him from doing it. And on a scale from 1 to 10, how's that grip feel?
So it's not, I wouldn't say it's, I'd say it's a 6.
Yeah, so he's not stoked on it. So he's not stoked on the grip. We're not getting the results we want. Like, why are we even going to follow that road? Now, if you hit 2 good ones in a row and it's doing everything that I want, I'm like, I don't give a shit what it feels like to you.
Right.
This is where good golf lives. But right now, it's not looking so good. So I'm probably not going to be recommending going with a big, giant grip for this guy, even though I thought deep down it would probably help him. It's just, it's not doing everything that I wanted it to do right away. So go ahead and hit one more. Yeah, so that was a pretty good shot. It's doing the same thing that all the other clubs have done at that lie angle. To me, I feel like it's just too invasive on the player.
Right.
Last thing I want to do before I write the prescription is I just need you to hit this golf club just a few times. This golf club is much longer than all the golf clubs that you've been hitting up until this point. Now, you're not the tallest guy, but I still would like to see you hit the longer club. Because, again, we're playing a little bit of a race between the heel and the toe. We know we want the heel to try to beat the toe ever so slightly. Well, the longer club makes it a little harder to let that toe win the race. So again, if we're fighting an overdraw, I've seen longer length help.
A little high.
Okay, so again, the same kind of result. So after I see a shot like that, I go, okay, nothing's really standing out. I'm going to give you one more, and then what we're going to do is we're going to piece together a golf club. Oh, we got to look at the data, and then we'll piece together a golf club that we think would work. Cool. That's it. We're going to pull up the data. We're going to go over it. And then what I'm going to try to do, which we don't normally do, is I'm going to try to piece together a golf club as best as I can for him. Let him hit 3 shots in front of you guys and see how close we can get to that ball flight that we set out to do before we even started. First one is iron, sole 1, sole 2. So when we look at ball speed and the consistency, well, iron number 1 won by a landslide. It can control its spin the best. It went 168 yards in the air on average, and it went in a 2-yard spread. So high balance clearly wins this test because it has the most consistent distance control, launch, and spin. Oh, I'm sorry, ball speed and spin. So you were correct. Sole Design is going to win in the high bounce category. So you need high bounce. When we look at lie angle test, well, lie angle 3 stands out like a sore thumb because it's got 3 miles an hour more ball speed than everybody else. And we know mathematically that's opening the face up to our path. So you're getting faster ball speed, and we know that that face is going to come into impact a little bit more open than the upright or standard club. So you're 100% supposed to be a flat lie angle. I believe we could even probably write you a prescription for something slightly flatter than my test,
Right.
and really get you close to that Hogan spec, believe it or not. For high bounce, flat lie angle. Now you said you wanted those champagnes, right? Well, you're in the market. All right, so when we look at the weight test, well, the dispersion cones, it looks like it's between weight number 1 and weight number 2. Weight number 2 was quicker and the same consistency as number 1, has a lower launch angle, which is insinuating you're hitting it lower on the face, and they have the same amount of backspin. 170 in a 3-yard spread, look to be a little bit less left biased. You need to be somewhere around that 100-gram weight shaft. So now we're looking at profile, which I thought was a not your best test. Ball speed, 113, 120, 117, 115, 121, 116, 117, 118. All right, I'm going to say profile 2 in that ball speed is a little bit more consistent. Okay, launched it a little bit more consistent with profile number 2. Now, you told me that profile number 2 felt the best to you.
Right.
So if it's going to win the ball speed consistency, if it's going to win the launch consistency and it felt the best, I couldn't really tell. I'd say it's probably a pretty safe bet to say profile 2 is probably going to win that race. All right, so ball speed sticks out. Flex number 2 had the fastest ball speed. It had a pretty good launch. Flex number 1 actually had the lowest launch. Our spin was controlled the most with flex number 3, and it had the most spin, which I don't think for you is a bad thing. I'd like to. It is a kind of a high launch for that spin rate, so that's tough to say. I would say flex number 2 is going to win that race. 171 in a 3-yard spread, slightly left, very small dispersion cone. It's between number 2 and 3. Stiff or regular flex. I don't know. I don't think you can deny that 119 ball speed. So you don't need to have an X. You need to have an S, and that's a 105S. So that's not a firm stiff. It's just a moderate stiff. I'm interested to see the swing weight test because it was actually a pretty interesting test for you. And again, I'm really looking at directionally. First thing I notice is we can almost chalk up swing weight number 1 because the ball speed, they're all mixed up. Swing weight number 2's ball speed consistency wasn't very good. Swing weight number 3 looks to be standing out. It's hard to say. Which one did you think felt best, the heavy head or as that head started getting lighter? I kind of liked number 3 for whatever reason. It felt like they were really, really cleanly struck.
But I like 3 and 2.
Okay, so something with a little bit lighter swing weight. That's what I think I would like to see, just because I've seen more and more people get more Tiger Strikes taking a little bit of weight out of that head. So now what I want to do is I want to piece together a OEM product that I think would work good. Now the problem is it's not going to be as flat as I would really want it, but it's going to have a lot of the other features that I do. So I'm going to grab my ping, no matter what time of day it is, no matter where I'm at in my life. The only thing that I need isn't available. It's just not around. Like, I got fucking 100 clubs here. I need one, and it's the only one. It's the only one that ain't around, and it's just, I've really gotten used to this in my life. Here we go.
This thing's sick.
All right, moment of truth. This is not what we do. This is a big risk. Will he make the sale? Who knows? All right, Ping I-230. This club is not as flat as I want it. So I got a shaft that I like. I got the weight that I want. I got the bounce that I want. I've got almost everything that I want. TV screen's on. Aim straight at the flag on the green ahead of you. Let's hit 3 shots. Okay, I'll take it. So what I've noticed is we've designed a system to try to make recommendations for the OEMs. And we're doing a pretty good job because this is a high bounce golf club. But like I said before, with all that weight down deep in those forward irons, they just don't hit the same. So it's kind of like, how's that prescription really relay over? That's the hard part. And this is one of the benefits of coming to California and actually flying out to see us, is we can go off the grid once we've got the baseline. This golf club is so flat that I want to see what happens. It's like, it's how this is how I figure it out. We call like this tapping the player out.
Yeah.
I gave you a club 5 degrees flat, and you looked at me and overdrew the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want to figure out is how flat is too flat. That was your first miss to the right. Look how much that ball curved. Okay, let's try that again. So here's the moral of the story for you guys. We just went through a process. We know what the specifications are. Now, some of you guys want to try to sample the club before you buy it, but there's 2 things going against us. You just did 72 shots. You think you're not tired just a little bit? That process spits out 3 million possible combinations. You think I really got that many shafts on the wall? So why would I take a guy who's tired, who's already been through the process, piece him together a club that is not a perfect prescription, it's not a perfect match, and invite him to hit it 5 times and pray to God that he hits it good? And if he does hit it good, how would you build the golf club? Because the prescription that you wrote and the club that you gave him are 2 separate things. So now how do you build the damn thing? There's a lot of issues that come into fitting and testing in the same day, as you can see. So here's the decision you guys need to make. Do you guys want to come in for a club testing, or are you here to get fit for a set of golf clubs and get a prescription? They're 2 different things. They need to be handled 2 different ways, and they need to take up 2 different sessions. So before you come into Forward Golf, ask yourself that. Am I here just to test stuff that I've heard about and want to try? Or am I here to be unbiased and really figure out where good golf lives and go through this process and take the script? And that's really where my business is transitioning. I used to test clubs and try to figure out what's getting the tiger strike. But all these variables are moving around. By the time I figured out, I don't know how I did it, and it took too long.
Right.
So I designed the process. Now I have the process, and I want to use the process to try to let people sample stuff. But I can't even get the lie angle with the bounce, with the weight, with all the stuff. It's impossible. I'll go out of business just trying.
Right.
So people now need to take a leap of faith and say, all right, I'll trust the process, build me a 7-iron exactly to the specifications that it should be. Let me go out and test it, and then we'll see where we're at. And that's what we're going to do with you. High bounce, flat lie angle, drop in the weight, drop in the flex. Those 4 things, bro, going to change some shit where that golf club is going to be far better than what you have now. And that's what club fitting is, guys. You're buying a club that's far better than what you currently got. There's no such thing as a perfect golf club by the time you try to find when your swing's changing. Golf is just hard. It's an elusive game. You're never going to bottle it up. But if we can eliminate the things that are holding you back and adding features that are going to help you, that's all we're really trying to do. So, hey, man, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having
I'll
me.
save these for you and hopefully get them built for you soon.
Shit's no joke. It's no joke.
Money, perfect. Perfect.